On the buy side of business transactions, and that's a little bit unique in the marketplace. And it actually kind of fills a void for what Transition 360 is doing. It's an area that they handle and they can take care of, certainly, but they don't focused on the buy side of the transaction. So the original affiliation is a very natural one. You're doing some things and I'm doing some things and we're compatible. And so they see a bunch of people in need of services and they're busy. Transition 360 is busy focusing on what they do and what they do best. But that's the affiliation. It's actually pretty simple. It's kind of they feed me a little bit and I feed them a little bit, and it works. It's just very natural.
So in the market of business brokers, what is unique about Transition 360 and what do they bring to the table for business owner?
I think it starts with professionalism. The reason I would want to be affiliated with them is professionally. I'm a lawyer by background, as you know, and on that level, I want to be involved on a higher level in all transactions. And so I think being affiliated, and I have choices, but being affiliated with Transition 360 gives me a capability of being proud when I refer someone, and I see a lot of things that I'm not going to handle, but they're people that need assistance, and I know that they're going to be taken care of properly. And then probably the second part that's very valuable to me is what they're able to do for me behind the scene. And that's everything from valuation to, quite honestly, a bunch of things that I would prefer not to be involved with and to some extent not qualified to do. And so we're able to work on that level in addition to referring back and forth. But no, Transition 360 just feels a need in the community that's necessary. You know, there's a lot of people don't know how to sell. They don't know how to prepare their businesses for sale. It's very important. And quite honestly, there's a little bit of coaching that goes on. And all those things are really important. So it's not as easy as posting a sign, I've got something for sale. There's a lot of background stuff that takes place.
Great.
Yeah.
A lawyer and Transition 360, the relationship there obviously is helping the client, usually the seller, get the most for their business, right? And so from a lawyer standpoint, we're looking at what the risks are to the company, how to clean up their legal back office, so to speak, and then from your standpoint, what you're trying to do, or what you do, the value add is letting the business owner get as much as they can for the business without leaving any money on the table. Our goal is to sort of grease the wheels to help the transaction move forward. I see my role as a facilitator rather than a roadblock. Well, Transition 360, as opposed to just being a listing broker, is actually acting in a consulting capacity, looking at the business from the inside and helping the business owners recognize where they can increase their value. I believe in quick turnarounds. Again, I believe in not being a roadblock, facilitating the transaction. I come from a corporate background prior to becoming a lawyer, so I understand that when two parties enter into a transaction, the goal is to seal the deal, complete the transaction, and the lawyer's job is to look at the risks, figure out how we can minimize them, but still achieve that business opportunity. And that's what I bring to a transaction.
Well, I think we're very complementary. Your commitment to a firm that is selling usually down the road, not within the first 3-6 months, but within a year to 2 years, is about improvement. And so I'm a resource to put to work for that, and it's something that you watch the value of the business grow by a multiple, and you watch it with the resources that you put to work there, reduce the risk for future buyers to buy the business. So I think what you're doing is very unique. You build it into usually a fee at the end. I just don't meet business brokers that do that. And I like it because you refer me and bring me in to do a piece of that, which is the alliance work that I do.
So tell me just a little bit about the alliance work and how that works.
So it's been my experience after owning a couple software companies and growing different businesses that one of the easier and less risky ways to accelerate growth is to find a strategic growth initiative, identify it, and then go outside to a business as a partner to complement what you don't do well to accomplish that strategic alliance or that initiative. And that works over and over again. Very seldom does it ever fail. It's faster, and again, it's a lot less risky. And that's what I do. I just orchestrate that.
Makes sense. In business brokerage, if you were a business owner, would you consider selling your business through Transition 360, and why?
Oh, that's a good question. I think a lot of business brokers probably mean well, but they're very transaction centric. And sometimes there's a sense of urgency about doing that too quickly. And when you get down to the deal without all the right development of the business along the way, you leave not thousands on the table, you leave millions on the table. So with Transition 360, you don't do that. The other thing is you end up, if you don't do the proper business value building and risk reduction, you end up as a seller providing terms that are not so nice. You have to stay involved in the business a lot longer. So again, when you get to that transaction table, you don't want to leave millions on the table, and you don't want to stay involved in the business for years to come. You want to exit.
I mean, we do in decorating and design, so to be able to acquire a business like this without help from people who know what they're doing would have been very difficult. So you had the right connections, you had the right resources, you have people that you align yourself with, that you trust, obviously, and we're able to recommend people to us to help us with this transition because we didn't know how to go take the next step. So, and you made it easy, and you were always available to talk to. I mean, you were representing the buyer, but you were there. You're representing the seller, yes, but you were there for the buyer as well. So it was very helpful for us.
Did you run into snags, and if so, how were they dealt with?
That could, really, I would say, and I have presented as that, we've all purchased a car, and we've probably felt that it was a fairly difficult process at some point. I think despite that, this is a much larger transaction, and there were little hurdles, but it was still never as difficult as purchasing a car. The pressures weren't there, the backhanding information and things being misrepresented, all that stuff was just clear and straightforward. And whenever there was a hurdle, we just turned back to you, because we knew how we wanted to, if we wanted to buy the business. So first we did our analysis to say, looks good, let's buy it. And then after we got it, we knew what to do from there. And like, okay, well, when we get the business, it was all the in between that, without what you guys provided for us, for providing the banks, providing the insurance, providing the attorneys, providing, everything that we needed to be able to make that transition happen from, yes, we want to buy it, to we don't know what we're doing, to, okay, now we own it and now we can get back to what we know to do. That's where you guys helped us get through those hurdles. And there was really none other than just standard for people who buy lots of business, probably no hurdles at all, but there are things, oh yeah, this is the process of this and this is the process. It went really smooth.
Great. Now, before you bought the business, what did you do, and how does it integrate together with this business?
So my history is, of course, working for my father at a building materials dealer, which goes generations before that. And so I had 22 years working in the building industry from the time I got out of school. And then from there, we went and I started my own business as a remodeler, but I supply the products and we install them. And so we were a customer of Everwarm. And so seeing the products that we were purchasing for them and knowing that we could realize the profits from that and also offer the services we do. And in the interim of all that, Tristan and I got together And really on the first job that we did, we won a Northwest Design Award for, and we just won it again a month ago. So it's just amazing that the stuff that we do by having a designer, a contractor, and now a bricks and mortar company that supply all the products for everything we do. That was really the intention and history of what we've done.
And what exactly is it that you do, and how are you integrating that with the purchase of Everwarm?
Well, mostly interior design is my background. I do come also from a family where my father was a builder, so we have that in common. And so I understood the building industry and that the importance of having places that you can go purchase things. So when we, like Everwarm, and most of our products we had purchased through there. So doing interior design and decorating and having Andrew for the remodeling, and now to be able to have Everwarm with the products that they have. So it was just a good fit. So it just seemed to work really well all around. So we're going to continue that process. So he'll still continue doing the remodeling. I'll still continue doing interior design, but we'll have products at Everwarm that will help complete all that. So it's really become a good process for us.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And if you had a message to the Peninsula community about Everwarm, what would that be?
I would say if you have a house and something needs to be done to it, you're looking at two people who can do it. I mean, we don't build houses, we don't really add on to houses, but if you have a house and you need something done, or if you're building a new house and you need those products for the interiors and such, and a designer, we can take care of everything that you do. I mean, that's been really important for us.
Well, and a quality crew. We have a real high quality crew that works for Andrew, myself, and especially at Everwarm. They're certified in so many different areas, and they have a way. I mean, they're just perfect. It's part of the reason we bought the company is because the team there was so educated and knowledgeable.
So although you focus on interior design for residential, you probably do commercial as well.
Yes.
And as far as construction and products, you're dealing with fireplaces from wood to propane to natural gas, and high-end shower glass, skylights,
Window replacement. So we do a lot of window replacement. Those are the things typically in Everwarm, and so the things that we're moving into, as well as that we'll be working into some of the mid to high grade appliances through some of the contacts that we've met since buying the business. But I don't think our intention was to do appliances, but some of the vendors have those available, and we're really excited about that. We're already doing tons of kitchens all year. Why not get into that market? So we aren't going to get into the everyday appliance, but when customers want something that's a little nicer, we're able to add those to the products we have. Then as well, we're going into training. I'm leaving. One of the other things that came up we didn't really think of and goes hand in hand with the company is solar. So as the nation and the world progresses to more solar options for their sourcing of power, we want to be positioned to be the source for buying those products and supplying those products, and have the education to be able to represent those products well. So we're going to start our first stages of training on that here next month. So that's pretty exciting. And then as well, for what I do, we've got the cabinets, the counters, the electricians, the plumbers, the painting, trim and interior doors, and exterior doors. So there's really not anything, pretty much after the sheetrock happens on a house that we don't have available for you.
Great. So as you grow the business and you acquire a couple more companies, would you consider working with Transition 360 again?
Of course.
Of course.
We've actually already recommended Transition 360 both to some friends that are looking and planning for their futures, as well as we see companies locally come up for sale. We let them know, we know everybody, so we're in a very small community, so we say, hey, these guys helped us buy a business, and I know they helped him sell a business. They could probably help you sell your business, because you've just got a sign sitting out front that is only to the people who drop by. There may be somebody in some other area that may be interested in a business like this. So we've very pleased with our experience, and are willing to share that information to people for them.
Great. Well, it was really fun working with you guys. A lot of people are kind of behind the ball, and you were ahead of the ball, which is very rare, and just a pleasure on every corner, like I said. So anything else that you would like to include in a blog if you were to have a piece that you'd want to send out? Is there a topic you'd want to talk about or a question you'd like to be asked?
That's the marketing department here.
If there's one question you'd like to be asked that you could respond to.
Yeah, why does she have to be partnered with me?
We're not married.
Oh,
That's answered. That's an answered
That's an
question.
answer.
here, if someone wanted to look up the awards that you just won, what magazines, and you have links to them on the website now? Or?
Yeah, and you'd have the Seattle Design Center, their annual design awards.
It's on their link.
It's on their link for there. What we had is modest budget, big impact remodel, which is the category I would think that we're all in. There's definitely some categories of kitchen remodel under $250,000, but I think a lot of us sit in the modest budget, high impact, and that's a lot of people look at the designs that she does and then how we complete them, and they think that they can't afford it. When they look at the pictures of what we do, they're like, I can't afford you guys. And then when both the design center and the one that we won this last year was on a laundry room. So you got to think that a $13,000 laundry room beat out $50,000 kitchens and $50,000 bathrooms. So just the look, because that's what we do, is we get the look right and we keep the price down really low, and it creates a really nice result all the way around. It looks expensive, costs less.
And you were actually in the process of doing interior design for the buyer, for the seller of this company, unbeknownst to you. So you obviously know what you're doing.
I can speak from it. It's hard. Okay. I think it's always hard for a designer because I think there's perceptions of them, whatever. But as a contractor, and a woman as well. I mean, so you have two things. You have young still. I mean, I feel like I should be older, because I'm in my 40s, but I'm still a kid in everyone's perception. And and she's a woman, and I think when you're saying we're ahead of the curve, it's because we feel we have to try harder. We have to prove we're not the kid and we're not the woman, and we know what we're doing. And I even know from the first project that we started working together, it was down to just one little piece of hardware that I was like, I don't know if she's picking the right stuff. And when we finished the end, I realized that I just need to shut my mouth and let her pick and design everything for the client, and it's my job to put it in, and it all looks beautiful. So.
Agreed?
Thank you.
Wonder Twin Powers, activate!
Woo! Yes.
There you go.
Transition 360 is really a lot like a financial advisor. Many of my clients that own businesses, that's one of their most important, if not their most valuable asset. Kind of like their home, it's their baby. And so I like to work with advisors that can help capture that value. And basically, I need to do estate plans before the deal is done to make sure that they're providing for their children, their spouse. And I love you guys because often insurance is not adequate to properly value a business. I mean, someone needs to capture it and pass it on to the next generation or capture the value. So, in other words, you guys help complete the planning I do. I do the estate plan to protect spouse and children, but you guys then kind of bring it to fruition. You kind of complete the deal, and often we fine-tune it after the deal is done, and we revise things. So I give a free review every 3 years to my existing clients, and things change.
As you work and do estate planning, what is the main focus? What's the main goal of working with your clients? What's your main goal? What's your focus or vision?
My goal is to ask a bunch of questions and find out what's important to the clients. Frequently I view a situation, I think, good, you're a goodwill candidate, you're a good trust candidate, but I've learned in time, it's better to ask questions. What do you want it to be like if you're incapacitated? What do you want to have happen when you die? How do you want to, everyone says I love my spouse, but most of them, when I ask them a little bit more, they'd like a little creditor protection, they'd like a little remarriage protection, and they say they have great kids, but then when I say, would you like to make sure that if they go through a divorce or they go through a creditor issue that you have some protection, they go, oh yeah, I want that. Mm-hmm. So it's me asking questions, learning about the family, learning about the goals, and then I can design a plan that fits their situation.
Mm-hmm. So if someone transitions their business, either sells it to an internal employee or an external buyer, and hasn't done enough planning for themselves, estate planning, what's the challenges that happen in a transition? It's the last minute panic, isn't it?
There's a lot of stress for families, and if there's incapacity or death prior to the completion of the plan, often the spouse and the children get very little. They don't capture the full value of the asset. So the estate is really not protected until you get all this in place.
Right. So estate planning is pretty much an integral part of any transition planning for a business owner.
Absolutely. It needs to be there in place before they do the planning, and sometimes you tweak it during the plan, and sometimes you modify it even after the plan.
What's most important to me is to be as valuable as I possibly can to everyone involved. And when I say everyone involved, I mean the advisors and maybe the inner circle of to a business owner or a prospective business owner that needs help, doesn't know where to go. He or she knows their business and that's what they know, but they need help. And I ask questions. I think I ask good questions that matter. And when you ask good questions, you get good answers. When you get good answers, you then can make valuable connections with blessings on both sides that this is a connection that should take place, and here's why. And that is what I get to do for Banner Bank. I believe that's what Banner Bank does as a whole. That's why I chose to jump aboard, and I think that's why they chose to have me. At Banner Bank, what I think I love the most is the flexibility of being able to speak to actual decision makers. And when I say that, I mean local decision makers, people that would underwrite a loan right here in Bellevue, line of credit right here in Bellevue. And if we don't actually get the answer that we want, maybe we haven't told the whole story yet. So we go back to the drawing board and we kind of try to connect the dots. We might go up the ladder a little bit, and if we can get a turnaround or a counteroffer that makes sense for the business owner, and it makes sense for Banner Bank, then by all means we're going to do that. And we've done it many times. In fact, in my first week at Banner Bank, we were able to turn one around. And that feels really good because I now know what it means to that business owner because they told me in concrete terms. So that feels really good. But when you talk about partnering with Transition 360, what I appreciate the most, and I don't want to understate the word appreciate, is that all of Transition 360, everyone that is there, the team there, the principals there, I know very well, and these are people I can trust. I trust Transition 360 to give me really honest feedback, regardless of what direction it's going to go. They give me the time to meet with an owner. They gave me, they give all the time and the information that's necessary to make a solid decision for this business owner about what's the future look like. Does this really make sense? And how would I go about doing this? And so what you do is you create a trusting relationship there, and they start to understand that what you said is true, and they believe you because you put the effort out there. And I can say that more about you than anybody else, and that is why I will continue to do this. And I know that the people that work with you, because I've talked to them, are very, very happy. They're very, very satisfied. They had another business and they sold it, they'd come back for more. Mm-hmm. So that's what I really appreciate about working with Transition 360.